Okay, so you need context to the story just because Mexico is a little messy. So I go to Mexico I go twice a year. I try to go twice a year. And, you know, when you think of Mexico, you think of narcos, but no one ever thinks of ghosts. Am I right? Yeah, so I have some great ghost stories. So, the first one being something that, well, okay, the whole house, my aunt's house, is fucking haunted. It's crazy. Like, so my aunt started living in her house alone because my uncle was in jail. It's a story for another time. So she says she was attacked by a ghost. And you know what? Like, I don't question it. I don't question her because she's a reliable source, you know? You just have to trust me. You can't just, you know what I mean? So basically, she started hearing things in the house, which happens, you know, you just hear things there. And then she saw like something like flying, you know, up in the air. And so she like did what a normal person does and got out of there. And this pillow like was like thrown at her, and she said that like she could have suffocated. She's a little bit dramatic, so I don't think she would have suffocated, but that's fucking scary. If you see a pillow in your room getting thrown at you, like, you know, something good is not going on there. And so it wasn't until after I'd heard this story that I heard the legend, I guess, of this house. So my aunt and my cousins, they live in the haunted house of the town. You know, when you walk by it, you're like, yeah, the house is haunted. And so the thing about what people would do over there, when it was still abandoned, before my family had bought it, people, like little boys, used to go and they would bet each other, like, I bet you can't go into the, you know, the basement. And so that's what people would do in the town. After this happened, like, nothing had really happened to me in this house, so I kind of, you know, I took it with a grain of salt, because, you know, like, nothing ever happens to me. I'm not the person in the family who sees shit. You know, there's a person in the family who does that, but it's not me. That's fifth generation. And so what ended up happening was that one night, we started watching The Conjuring at night, just, you know, bedtime stories, right? And we stopped exactly at the part where the witch's feet were like dangling in the basement. Spoiler alert, by the way. But I mean, if you haven't watched it. After that, we were like, fuck this shit. We're going to bed. And so I had a really good night's sleep. I remember that night, actually, because I had a really good dream. And then I woke up to knocking on the door. And it was just like, it was continuous, you know what I mean? So I was trying to get a look at the door just because I was in the part of the living room where I had the straight view at the door. And the way this door is, it's that it has a window on the top, and the bottom it has the little opening, so you can see a shadow, but you can also see like the figure of the person through the top window. And I didn't see anyone in the top window, and I was like, maybe it's, I don't know, someone short? I don't fucking know. But I was trying to come up with reasons as to like why this was happening, because I didn't want to like believe what I was seeing. And so I looked at the bottom, and there was no shadow. And then, even worse, I heard little kids laughing. So I was like, fuck this shit. And so I just, you know, put my blanket over my head, acted dead, and it kept on going for a little while, like for a minute or so, but then it stopped, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sleep now, sleep it off. And so I thought, you know, it was over that night, like I was good, like I was fine. But then, that same morning, I could have sworn I saw my cousin going into her room, and so I followed her into the room. And so instead of a door, her door frame has a curtain. So when you pass by it, like, you know, you don't feel anything. It's just a curtain. But I swear to you, I felt someone walk right past me. You know, and there was no one there. It was just me. it was a real person that wasn't there.
Oh.
So, you know what I mean? You know what it feels like
Yeah.
when someone brushes past you, and that's what it felt like, and I just don't know how to explain it. So was my introductions to Ghost. Yeah. And that same summer, I was actually staying with my family, and I learned about, like, I guess they practice spiritualism. Yeah, so basically, they all see ghosts, and they feed food to their ghost, because they respect the ghost.
Feed food to...
Yes.
That seems like a practice you'd only do during, like, Dia de los Muertos or something.
No, they do this every single morning.
Oh.
So what they do is, it's very much related to Catholicism. It's just a branch of it, I believe. And I'm not sure if it's spiritualism, it's something like that. But basically, how you practice it in the home is that you make your breakfast for your family or whatever, but first you have to give it to the ghost.
Mm-hmm.
So you feed the ghost first, and then you have the medium of the house, which is my cousin. He tells them, like, okay, they're done eating, and that's when you can, like, eat the food, and it's supposed to be holy. And the thing about it is that, like, you know, like, food, like, my aunt doesn't make food that's, like, tasteless. I've tasted her food before, but whenever, like, you taste that food, it
has, like, no taste.
Yes, it's really weird.
That's weird.
Yeah. And so they, you know, like, it's just, like, things like that, you know, they'll go to the movies and they'll buy candies for the little kids, because it's all little kids in their house. You know, the ghosts, not the real ones. So, last one is one that, like, so, in my town, again, in the haunted house, because obviously where else, am I right? So, there's a horse that passes by every night at 3 a.m, which, as you should know, is witching hour. So, I never believed my family when they told me this, because it's just like, what is a person doing out at 3 a.m, you know, on a horse?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I would just stay up at 3 a.m, because it was vacation. Like, why would I not stay up that late? And one night, I actually ended up staying up till 3 a.m, and I was like, fuck yeah, fuck you, like, ghost bitches, like, you know, I made it. And
just a tip for everyone, don't do that.
Oh yeah, don't make fun of ghosts.
What's it called? What's the word?
Don't taunt them.
Don't taunt the ghosts.
Don't taunt the ghosts, because that's bad. Me and my cousin were up at 3 a.m, and about 15 minutes had passed, and I was like, I'm good, you know, like, I made it. And then all of a sudden, you hear all of the horses around the neighborhood stop barking, and I was like, oh, okay, this is odd. But I just kind of, like, you know, brushed it off as I brush off everything else in my life. Kind of like my homework that I should be doing right now.
I hear that.
So yeah, I stopped hearing I stopped hearing the dogs, and then right after that, you could hear the sound of a horse walking, like, galloping, whatever the word is, across the street. And I know it sounds fucking crazy, but so it sounds crazy just because of what they told me about this man. They say that he is the devil. So I heard the devil. Yes.
You heard the devil at night.
I heard the devil at night. And the reason I know this is because my aunt, so she was like 70 at this time probably, and we went over to her house one time, and she saw my cousin. She was like, oh, you're the girl that lives on the corner, right? And my cousin was like, yeah, right, that's me. And she was like, so you've heard the ghost, you've heard the horse before, the man on the horse? And she was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, yeah, it's the devil. And I was like, oh shit. I heard the fucking devil. Yeah, and so it wasn't just me though. Like, my aunt, like, saw him pass by her house. She's lived in that neighborhood for years, you know? So, like, she had to have, like, seen him, heard him. Like, she knew about this man. And so did my aunt, the same one that was suffocated by the pillow from
earlier.
The ghost earlier, yes. So Basically, she had woken up at 3 in the morning to feed her daughter, who had just been born, and she started hearing a horse. And she was like, what the fuck is someone, because she's chismosa, putera type, so she's gonna look through the window
Yeah,
just to see who is passing by her house.
Unfortunately, that was her biggest mistake.
Exactly, because she looks out the window, pulls the curtain to the side, and it's a man dressed all in black, and it's a man that's dressed all in black, and he slowly turns towards her. He shouldn't have been able to tell that she was looking at her, first of all, so that's just a little sketch, you know what I mean? So he starts slowly turning towards her, and that's when she's just like, fuck this shit, closes curtains, goes to her bed, prays. I don't even think she fed her baby that night. So yeah, we all sell the devil.
No thank you for that, Mel.
Yeah, you're welcome.